treat bags. Now, these actually go by several names, but here in Southwest Virginia, Northeast Tennessee, Western North Carolina, parts of Kentucky, and some in Pennsylvania, we've always just called them Appalachian treat bags. And these go back way, way back. Nobody's really sure how they got started or when or where. Some people say it started after the war, World War II. And it didn't actually start then. And then some people say it goes back to the Depression. And then some people say it went back to the 1800s. And I've also read that it actually was something that came over in the early settling of the country, which was, of course, well before the 1800s. Hey, Spider-Man the hero is in the house. So we're going to be stuffing these bags. It's something that my husband and I do because it's a Christmas tradition. It's just something that people do, but it's dying off. So if you're sitting there thinking, oh, they used to give out treat bags, or I remember when my church did this, or my organization did this, guess what? We're they now. So if we want these traditions carried on, that's up to us to make sure it happens. So we're going to fill these treat bags. One year I did this video and somebody contacted me saying it made them cry because they were remembering the good times and what it was like to get a treat bag. So the bags have candy, usually a candy cane and chocolate, an orange, and an apple. And there may be some variations. Some people use gum instead of candy canes. Somebody may use Tootsie Rolls instead of a chocolate bar. We're using Hershey's chocolate, my fave, just saying. But each item has some symbolism associated with it, and I think that's important to know with the tradition as well. What do you think, John?
I think so too. It adds a layer. It adds a layer of richness to the activity and to the gift itself.
Yeah, it does. So back in the day, oranges were really hard to get. Apples had to be gathered in the fall and saved until this time of year. So apples were special. Nuts typically are a part of the bags, but where we have some folks in our church that are allergic to nuts, we just decided not to include them. But often they'll have walnuts or hazelnuts, some other kind of nuts, sometimes chestnuts, something that would be indigenous and useful to the area. So that's why the bags have nuts in them. And candy canes, a lot of stories about the candy canes. One is that they're candy, and it's just part of having like a hard candy Christmas because they will last throughout the year, and so that's why they used to put the candy cane in. I've also heard that the candy cane, the white represents purity, and the red represents the stripes of Jesus. So we're kind of, there's just a lot of stories and a lot of symbolism. Decuvillain 9081, Nathan, welcome. Spider-Man, welcome. Let's see, Decuvillain says, there is no one live right now. Who were you talking to? We actually had some people that were here that are live. So that's who I was talking to. Also, I have to remember that I'm live right now, but you can watch this on the replay, so people are going to come back later and watch it on the video, which is awesome. So going back to the Appalachian treat bags, it goes back to the ruse. So right after the war, the World War II, there was a train that started in Kingsport, Tennessee. It was called the Santa Train. And it was put together by a group of businessmen who wanted to say thank you to their customers and to the region for supporting their business. And the Santa Train went from Kingsport, Tennessee, and today it makes almost 30 stops. And they hand out toys, and they hand out these treat bags with the apple and the orange and the hard candy. So I have talked to some of the older generation of the silent generation. So we're talking about older than boomers, okay? I've talked to some people, and they said that their Christmas sometimes came completely off the train. So if they got a toy, it came from a train. If they didn't get a toy and all they had was this Christmas treat bag, then that's what they had. So I think it would be very foreign for kids today who can't get off of their phones and pull back from technology to realize that there was a time when things were so tough that your entire Christmas might come down to a brown paper bag with an apple representing the sweetness of the season, and orange, which represents financial success, plenty, good luck, because oranges were very, very hard to get. And they had to go by boat and then be distributed, so these were really hard to get. Nuts representing the hardness of the season, but also there's the seed inside of them, so the nuts also promise, the future. And of course, the candy cane being the hard candy. So this is something that our church does because my husband and I said, we feel like this is important. And like I said, I've had some people that they cried, when they got the bag because it brought back the good memories. And it's something that has, it goes through the generations as long as we make sure it goes through the generations. So we have these, it's just a brown paper sack, like you would get for lunch. And that's all it is. But people look forward to it today, just like they did back in the day, except people don't cry anymore. Let's see, Spider-Man the Hero says, how do you make a squirrel laugh? Oh boy, I have no clue. Do you want to fill me in? Go ahead and fill me in. Oh, and the chocolate in the bags also represents something sweet, something special for Christmas. Of course, we don't think anything about it now, but I think that the symbolism is real important. Oh, tickles. Boo! Now that's a dad level kind of joke right there. And of course, you all see my service dogs. We have service dog Pipsy that just went around behind me, and Sir Fluffy is over here, just in case I need him. So if I drop a bag or knock something, then they'll pick it up for me. So do your churches or organizations, do you all do the treat bags? And they're not only in Appalachia. They were given throughout the country. It's just that they're so strongly associated with Appalachia. That's why the folks in Southwest Virginia and Tennessee and so forth call them Appalachian treat bags. A lot of small churches still do this today, and I'm glad. So, how about you all? Do you all have a church or organization that does the bags? And what do you put in them? Do you put in peppermints or gum? Which one do you do? I'm always curious about these things. I like tradition. I think that tradition's important. Am I messing up our?
Well,
Okay, hold on. Okay, am I talking too much and paying attention too little?
that's okay. You go on and talk. I'll keep on filling.
Okay, you fill. I'll just open the bags.
Okay.
Oh. See, I kind of do miss the nuts, but we have to keep people safe.
Yeah.
Safety is important. So who does this? Q&A sticker push out. I don't know what came up there. What are you into? Are you into boredom? I got one over here who's complaining about boredom. So if you hear the whining, that's why. But I really do want to know if you all are with an organization that does the treat bags or a church. I just like to know how many people are still doing them this year that are outside of our area. Oops, sorry. Messing up the system. Because I've seen them done, and heard of them being done rather, as far away as like California, Iowa, and as far east as Eastern Virginia on the coast. I'm sorry, Eastern North Carolina on the coast. It's kind of a fun thing. All right, I'm moving a little bit more. Scooting over. Trying to get out of the way. Whoops. Okay, I think I'm still messing. I think I'm still messing up the system. So we're going to do almost 100 of these. So, which is A-okay. And it takes a little while to do them. You're not going to sit down and do them in, 5 minutes. But you have to check every piece of fruit, make sure it looks nice, make sure the candy canes aren't broken as you put them in. So, yeah, if the candy canes break, they go home with me and I make white chocolate peppermint cookies, which are pretty sought after.
They're very popular. Yes, they are.
That and the biscotti. A lot of people didn't know what biscotti is until we came, and now they all know. So how far back do you all think it goes? Personally, I'm betting on 1800. So, all right. Well, I keep messing up the system here.
We don't want to
They probably had a better system when they did this in the 1800s.
Probably so. We don't want to make sure we don't have any.
But it's pretty awesome to think that you might be taking part in a tradition that started way back in the 1800s. And
Yep.
definitely, at least in Appalachia, Great Depression and before. Of course, Appalachia was settled by a lot of your Scotch-Irish and your Dutch, hence Pennsylvania Dutch. A lot of traditions came. A lot of it. But to me, it's really interesting how the bags haven't really changed that much through the generations. You still have your apple, orange, your nuts, and your candy. So all right. Well, I'm going to stop messing up his system. I just wanted to come on for a few minutes and talk about the bags and talk about why we're doing them. Here's hubby. Sorry about messing up your system.
That's all right. You just want to make sure you're all filled.
Okay, you all. Thank you so much for watching. By the way, in case you missed it, hi, I'm Gail. Welcome to my Bodacious channel. We're all about not letting life get in the way of living, and I think doing these bags is part of it. So thank you all. Have a Merry Christmas, and I'll see you later, because we're gonna make those newspaper crafts, okay? Goodbye, everyone.